Hello, everyone. We have a problem. A big problem. The greatest problem I have ever had. Okay. Before we get into that, how are you doing, my fellow hunters and fellow celebrators of the 20th Monster Hunter anniversary? And indeed, we are essentially there. If you're hearing this the day it goes out, it's tomorrow, the 11th of March, 2004, 20 years ago. Well, the greatest goddamn series graced our eyes, our minds, and our hearts. But in all seriousness then, as it currently stands, we do have the very special anniversary program coming up, well, on Tuesday, the day after the anniversary, where I imagine lots of cool things, fun things, celebratory, interesting things will be shown. But what else might be shown? Well, put a pin in that, we'll get to it. But first, let's head on over to the realm of the top monster poll. The single largest monster rating ever. The most accurate monster rating ever. This is kind of it. Monster Hunter has never been bigger than it is in this moment. The 5th gen pumping millions of extra players into this series. This is the big one. There has been polls in the past. There has been interesting results in the past. I would have never chosen this top 3. But we are about to get a new definitive list that should stand for a while. And we have been slowly having that list trickle down to us. Starting at 20th and heading downwards once per day. Well, it's gone like this. Last time I talked about it, we knew 3 of them. Valstrax at 20th, though more specifically Crimson Glow Valstrax, which I do think is interesting and kind of raises something that I want to talk about in a little bit. Then we had Shagaru Magala at 19th, and Namiel at 18th, which is very nice to see. Then, let's continue. At 17th... Okay, which one of you did not do your job and vote for the objectively best monster in Monster Hunter? Okay, I won't be, I'm not mad, okay, I'm a little bit, no, I'm fine, I'm okay with it, this is alright, okay? He's still, you know, the 17th best out of 229. Look, the fact that he's on the 20 is at least the bare minimum for me to be able to sleep at night, but there is something okay, alright, we need to, it's okay. Look, it's okay. All right. I've already been through the 5 stages, and it's just flooding back to me again right now. Brachydios at 17th. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, Misitsune ahead of Brachydios by like 4 places, 3 places. What are you doing? It's fine. It's absolutely, completely okay. You know, it really is completely okay because Raging Brachydios is still up there and is clearly going to come first, and it will all be forgiven and made right. In all seriousness, yes, obviously I wanted a top 3 finish for my beautiful Brachy Daddy, but we can't all get what we want, and I do genuinely find myself very glad and happy that he did make the top 20. That is the important thing, and again, I do have a little bit of hope for Raging, but I feel like Base Brachy would have got more votes, as good as Raging was, and hey, Raging technically is my favorite monster if we are going to separate them out, but again, more on that. Then over at 16th place, we got ourselves Safi Jiva, which is a result. The Red Dragon himself, the best siege fight Monster Hunter has ever done, and the wielder of the single best attack in Monster Hunter history, that is the Sapphire of the Emperor. Yeah, I love this. He is not the best fight ever on a literal level, but he's not a normal hunt. Everything that he is, though, was done impeccably, and it's clear that he has left a lasting impression because, I mean, he's here, and he does leave a lasting impression. Your first Safi, your first Sapphire of the Emperor, unforgettable. I think this is well deserved. I think it is surprising to me, but it's one of those that I see and I'm like, oh, no, yeah, okay. Like, the initial reaction is really Safi, but the more I have thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, no, he is really that impactful. Then, over at 15th, we have got not White Fatalis, but Old Fatalis. And yes, when we saw him as an option on the list, this did come up, but like, Old Fatalis. I guess this is essentially, at this point, an official renaming from White, and I guess it doesn't matter too much, really, does it, White or Old Fatalis, but it does kind of at least imply and super confirm that every Fatalis just becomes White Fatalis when they age, because it's just older Fatalis. This is just a natural part of their life cycle, and I guess it is distinct enough to be a variant, a one that has lived this long, though it is weird that it is a subspecies. If they're going to rename it Old Fatalis, then it should be categorized as a variant and not a subspecies. To be fair, the same with Crimson, as he is a product of a unique situation and not so much an entire separate, race of Fatalis. So that's certainly there, but it is good to see the strongest monster in all of Monster Hunter, at least mainline canon, actually get represented in his strongest form. I do harbor a hunch that, actual normal base Fatalis, the Iceborne version, left enough of an impression and was that special he will appear again lower down the list, but it is really good to see a monster that hasn't been in the 5th gen in any capacity actually take a spot. That is really, really cool. Then at 14th, we have Mizutsune, the Fated 4, that I think will get the highest place. I think generally Mizutsune is more popular than Glavenus, the second most popular, and yeah, there is nothing wrong with this. I would put them a little bit lower myself, but the bubbles are awesome, the soapy stuff. Yeah, it's a very unique, beautiful monster, and one that a lot of people do love, evidently. Then at 13th, we got an incredibly pleasant surprise in Primordial Malzeno. The most recent new monster in the most recent Monster Hunter made that much of an impact instantly, and yeah, he deserves it. He is a masterpiece of a fight. He is honestly probably in my top 5. He is a beautiful mix of story, mechanics, and just heart-pounding challenge, and I am really chuffed to see him here. Honestly, I wish Primordial Malzeno was just base Malzeno, which technically he is. The base Malzeno is the variant in the switcheroo they did, so that whenever Malzeno gets re-added eventually, it will be Primordial, but alas. In 12th, perhaps even more interesting, out of nowhere, Abyssal Legiacrus. This kind of makes me feel like people thought perhaps voting for any kind of Legiacrus counted towards just Legiacrus? Because don't get me wrong, Abyssal is incredible. I love him and he's my favorite version of Legiacrus. I mean, just look at him, he's so cool. But he is a monster that we have not seen in generations. He's not exactly popped up all over the place. It is very statistically likely that the vast majority of Monster Hunter players have never even seen him until now. But here he is winning 12th? I mean, I guess the people likely to vote in a poll like this are people who are likely to have seen more monsters and gone out the way to learn what isn't in the 5th gen, but even then, this one is certainly a surprise, a deserved one, but a surprise. As kind of is 11th to me, Stygian Zenogre. Look, you know how I feel about the Zenogres. I'm not the biggest fan. I get the appeal. I don't hold it against anyone who loves them, but they just are the flagship that doesn't really do it for me. Stygian I prefer to base, of course. The red and black is the best color scheme, and he really is badass, but 11th best out of 229 monsters all time? Really? That's a little bit of a surprise to me, especially as I'm over here looking at 17th. Like, really? Brachy lost to Sticky and Sinoga? And for me, this implies that base Sinoga and maybe even base Lagiacrus are still going to come up in the top 10, so... we'll see what happens. And talking of that top 10, that will be getting revealed very soon, so stay tuned. So with us all up to date on the list then, I can only assume we will get the rest of the placements at the, showcase, the special program. I am really hoping we do get all of the results, every single monster, all 229 in order, and ideally with some stats, how many votes they actually got. Firstly, it's going to be amusing to find out what the literally least loved and cared about monster out of all of them is. Oh, sorry, I don't know how that Chips Ross clip got in there. That's weird. No, it'll be Cephadrome. Of course it will be Cephadrome. Come on now. At least Chips Ross is silly fun. In any case, beyond that though, I do have quite the thought. Because subspecies, variants, etc. were on the list separate from their base form, I do wonder how much that has affected the votes by diluting every monster's votes. If there is a monster that is super universally loved and doesn't have any other versions to vote for, then it will get a lot of votes. Whereas take my Brachydios in 17th, what if Raging is like 24th, but if you added Raging's votes to Brachydios's, it pushes it to like 5th, and he would have been 5th. Same with Crimson Glow, where would he rank with normal Valstrex's votes added to it? That's something I think's really curious and something I really want to find out. And then really all that is left is to talk about the special program. Actually, not just the special program. We are getting more info on the Monster Hunter Remaster game that is base stories very soon, so that's going to be intriguing to see and something I am still very excited for. And then we did get the, as I said last time I talked about this, they did specifically mention that this program will not feature a new game announcement on News and Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds is fair enough, they said summer, it'd be weird to just randomly change that, but I love the phrasing of no new game announcements, as a lot of you pointed out that technically a remaster of an old Monster Hunter game wouldn't be a new game in the literal sense, so maybe, look, I would be surprised, but I do certainly think that is a fun train of thought, and I don't think it's impossible. Bottom line, they have not announced or done or started anything else 20th anniversary focused, anything big, anything going on, any event. And I feel like just having a celebratory stream and then, okay, it's over, that's it now, bye, is maybe a little bit anticlimactic. I say that now, I'm going to watch it and be like, yeah, that's Monster Hunter, oh my god, and it's going to be fantastic, but surely something, right? Some sort of, again, thing. It remains to be seen, but it will be seen. It will be very much neat, and I will be with you to talk about it. For now then, though, let me know how you're feeling with the anniversary just tomorrow. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.